On WFTV tonight.
Our sheriff's office family is hurting.
It's a story that has shaken our community. The Lake County Sheriff saying his deputies walked into a carefully coordinated ambush.
We didn't have any warning signs that this family, would do something like this.
The sheriff describing in horrific detail how one of the suspects lured them into a deadly trap. We'll take you through all of the bizarre twists and turns.
But we're going to get through this, and it takes more than just us. It takes our community, and our community's doing that, and I'm so thankful.
This is WFTV Tonight.
The Lake County Sheriff saying his deputies likely saved the lives of others. Good evening. I'm Martha Sagowski.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. We also learned so much more today about what actually unfolded during that shooting Friday night, including how the deputies weren't the original intended targets. The sheriff described at length how the deputies first responded to a call about a woman, Julie Sulpizio, assaulting her neighbors and accusing them of being sinners. One of the neighbors said that Sulpizio, seen here, had also tried to convince them to go to her house, but they did not trust her. The deputies ultimately handcuffed Sulpizio and went to check on her home. And take a listen to what the sheriff says happened once those deputies went inside.
As they opened the door, it entered into a small laundry room, which led to an intersecting hallway that led left and right. Master Deputy Link, as he approached the threshold of the hallway, advised he was going left, indicating to Master Deputy Howell he should go right. As Master Deputy Link crossed the threshold into the hallway, his body-worn camera captures several frames of what appears to be a male in black sleeve shirt or body armor, positioned with a rifle on the arm of a couch, waiting to ambush deputies. Master Deputy Link does not see this, as he is focused on moving left and the camera's pointing straight. But as he's focused on moving left,
and that home is on Brookside Drive in Eustis, right by County Road 439. Nick Pampantonis was back in that neighborhood earlier tonight and was actually able to speak with those neighbors who investigators say were the original targets in this whole plot. All right, Nick, and it is difficult to comprehend the bravery of the men and women of law enforcement. Tonight, I talk with a 25-year veteran, Lieutenant Chris Beckton of OPD, about the bravery and sacrifice on display there in Lake County. Right now, the Lake County Sheriff says the two injured deputies, Stefano Gargano, remain hostile to Sanford, who had been in critical condition, underwent a third surgery today and is now stable. He is expected to be able to speak on his own again soon, maybe as early as today or tonight. Howell underwent a second surgery on his arm and is expected to be able to recover completely. But in situations like these, there are those invisible wounds as well. And the Lake County Sheriff's Office has a partnership with a UCF program that helps provide treatment to first responders, military veterans, and other survivors of trauma like this. Martha?
Law enforcement officers from all over the state traveling through the rain to escort Master Deputy Bradley Link to a funeral home. Channel 9's Carla Ray continues our team coverage with a look at how Master Deputy Link was honored today. Funeral services for Master Deputy Link will be held this Saturday at 11 at the Real Life Church in Claremont. We, of course, will continue to follow the investigation and bring you more throughout our newscast.
Another big story we've been following is now Tropical Storm Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie brought flooding and knocked out power all across our state. More than 40,000 customers don't have electricity right now, many in that Big Bend area. That's where the storm made landfall this morning as a Cat 1 hurricane. Residents along Horseshoe Beach waited in darkness as Hurricane Debbie came ashore. Storm surge leaving a path of destruction, the wind and rain also knocking down trees and power lines. Certified Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry is in Severe Weather Center 9. Tom, where is Debbie now?
Yeah, so far today it's come from Steinhatchee across through I-10 and it's now crossed over into southeast Georgia. Notice the heavy rain bands, which are slowly going to keep migrating north here, but just a tremendous amount of rain from this system. Winds down to 45, holding from the last advisory, but look at all the flood flood warnings here, even some tornado warnings near Charleston. Also notice all the lightning that's populated up here near Charleston. So they're going to get much higher rain rates. And that's why we have this high risk for excessive flooding from Brunswick, Georgia, all the way through Savannah, getting up into Charleston. That's for tomorrow. And then it continues into Wednesday. This is the path of the storm. It will get back over the water, we think. Probably will not have much of a chance to develop much further, but still lots of heavy rain will continue for the entire week up the Atlantic seaboard. We've had some pretty good rain today. Still some moderate showers right along the I-4 corridor. And with these showers come a little bit of wind as well. Had a pretty good downpour move through Cocoa Beach. I'm going to time out a few more rain bands for tomorrow, but the changes we'll see in our rain pattern coming up toward the weekend. Greg.
Tom, thank you. And coming up, our continued coverage of the deadly ambush on Lake County deputies.
Channel 9 speaking with a former prosecutor about the case against the suspect and the possible challenges in pursuing the death penalty.
And a look at Debbie's damage some more. Strong winds flipped campers in Brevard County, one with a 99-year-old inside. Up next, we hear from a resident who described her panic as she ran for safety.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by attorney Dan Newland. As Debbie brought flooding rains and tornado warnings.
This is 5 days of rain over the southeast.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News brought you team coverage across her entire path.
We have seen that water rise and rise and rise now.
Live updates from Severe Weather Center 9.
These feeder bands stretch hundreds of miles.
And bringing you live to the areas most impacted.
A man was inside of this RV.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Right now, we'll do an extensive investigation into any potential mitigation, any potential issues that she might have. But it's too soon to speculate about what conditions she may or may not have. And, you know, we have to follow the evidence and we have to proceed where the evidence leads us. And those are things that will be dealt with at a later time, at a later stage in the process. No, I'm confident in the evidence that we've got.
You just heard from the state attorney of the 5th Judicial Circuit. He was speaking about the only surviving suspect in the ambush that killed Master Deputy Bradley Link and hurt 2 other Lake County deputies last week. Investigators arrested that suspect, Julie Sulpizio, today, and she is facing a dozen charges, including first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer. And that's even though Sulpizio is not accused of pulling the trigger that killed Master Deputy Link. This case is eligible for the death penalty. Sulpizio's first court appearance is set to happen tomorrow morning at 9, and we'll have a Channel 9 team there, and we'll walk you through any developments in that hearing. But what are the odds of actually getting a death penalty conviction here? That will be something that prosecutors will have to weigh. And I talked tonight with a man who has sought death as a prosecutor, former state prosecutor Ryan Vecchio. Our Channel 9 team digging into every element of this story for you, for the suspects in this case to the deputy shot in the ambush.
We will continue to bring you new information into this horrific story on air and online. We're taking you through the sheriff's detailed description of that ambush coming up in just a few minutes.
The National Weather Service believes straight-line winds may have flipped multiple RVs at Sunrise Palms RV Park in Brevard County. It happened Sunday evening as one of deputies' outer rain bands moved across the area with winds of 60 to 65 miles per hour. A 99-year-old was inside his RV when the winds hit, lifting his camper onto his pickup truck. We learned he is in the hospital tonight. We're waiting for his condition report. Many residents don't have a place to stay this evening, and some are still cleaning up the mess Debbie left behind.
When we got down this street, this side street, and we looked over and saw our home flipped, I literally ran out of the car while it was moving. I was screaming, like just pleading for God, just like screaming, "Where's my dog?"
Hopefully that 99-year-old is okay.
Yeah,
tonight.
Frightening. That just goes to show you just one blast from Mother Nature with a straight line wind.
And that's why we tell folks get into a secure building.
Yeah, and along the coast, they didn't really get as much weather, nearly as much weather as we had on the west coast of Florida. But yeah, it just takes one big rain squall. We're still watching a tropical storm tonight, and Martha's already put her order in for sunshine tomorrow. See what we can do about that. Low clouds, 80 degrees, and the clouds are still whipping by pretty quick. We still have some pretty good wind in the atmosphere. Heaviest rain as we expected along our western third. We had 4 to 8 inches of rain generally, 6 to 8 near the turnpike and 75. I had several people on Facebook comment that they finally got some much needed rain across our interior, but lacking in some of the rain. Of course, we did have that heavy gusty wind band that knocked over the RVs, and about 2 inches generally in Orlando today. You can still see a thin line of showers. This is all kind of racing through south of Metro Orlando, so still a few quick downpours, and it's rather gusty, squally. When you get in these rain bands, they generally are not very convective, in other words, lightning, but we are seeing quite a bit of lightning with those outer rain bands in the just south of Charleston, South Carolina, where our storm is going to be heading over the next 36 hours very slowly. It's like getting out and starting a slow jog all the way up the coast. It would take a while, and that's how long the storm is going to take. Look at all these flood warnings through here. All of these icons are all flood reports already, and the heavy rain continues. It's going to continue to slowly get back over water. 50 is not going to regain hurricane status, we don't think, but will become what we call an extratropical cyclone, but a rainmaker all the way through the rest of the week. But it is going to also drag in what we call some continental air coming in off the continent, I suppose, and drier air generally is what we're going to see move in, deleting some of the rainfall from our forecast. Our rain chance going down to about 30% for tomorrow. Here's a passing shower here, a couple up here, maybe a passing downpour here and there, but otherwise a little sunshine mixed in for good measure. A few more clouds on Wednesday, and the system itself will still be trying to trudge up the East Coast. For Daytona, a couple of showers for you tomorrow as we get back in the upper 80s to near 90. Here's your 7-day forecast. The weekend always in view. I've got low 90s tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun, and mid 90s, and a little bit drier for the next couple of days before the rain chances sneak back up in time for the weekend. Of course they do. We'll be right back.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the law offices of attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
Tragedy in Central Florida.
And I was just informed the third deputy that was shot has passed away.
The life of a brave deputy cut short, and 2 more left fighting for their lives.
Just horrific when you have one of your own inside of a home and you can't get to them.
As we mourn together, we'll keep you updated as more details develop.
It's going to be a long time before we get back to a sense of normal.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Coverage you can count on.
A family is mourning in Levy County after a teenager was killed when a tree came crashing down. Investigators say they believe the 13-year-old boy was sleeping when a tree fell onto his grandmother's mobile home, crushing him in the bedroom, and he died. Levy County Sheriff responded to the scene personally to express his condolences to the family. To our Shannon Butler.
His grandparents were in other rooms and in the mobile home. I know it barely missed the ground. This is a 13-year-old.
Cleanup is already starting in Levy County, where the sheriff says more than half of the residents are without power.
The Florida Highway Patrol says 2 people are dead following a crash in Dixie County. It happened around 9:30 last night on U.S. Highway 19. Witnesses telling troopers they saw that car lose control due to poor weather conditions. The car slid, hit a barrier, and then overturned. A 38-year-old driver and her 12-year-old passenger were both killed. A 14-year-old in the backseat was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Troopers say all 3 were not wearing their seatbelts. Well, today, Governor Ron DeSantis provided another update on Debbie from the Florida Emergency Operations Center, confirming that there have been 4 storm-related fatalities. He also pushed the importance of staying safe.
Just a reminder that as we have more and more water, we are going to see flooding, particularly in the northern part of the state. Be very careful. Don't go out into flood waters. There can be hazards there. There can be debris. Downed electrical cables there.
Also noted that more than 17,000 linemen were working to get power back for hundreds of Floridians. He says upward to more than 50,000 accounts. Well, things have been wet here in Central Florida, but conditions over in Tampa have been far worse.
Yeah, I've seen some drone video, and we've got another look at some shots from Tampa. The city facing severe flooding, high were an issue by as a hurricane just 100 miles off their coast. In fact, this home was crushed after a large tree fell, and thankfully there were no injuries, almost amazingly. Throughout the region, streets were flooded, and the sight of cars stalling out really became commonplace as drivers were trying to force their way through.
As you can see, that fire truck could barely make it through, but thank goodness that, oh look, there's another poor vehicle that are experiencing some engine troubles after driving through there.
Channel 9 severe weather team of meteorologists estimate that at least 8 inches of rain fell in Tampa and as much as 10 inches in St. Petersburg. There was also storm surge right there along the Howard Franklin Bridge that created driving difficulties for folks. And again, we've had 4 deaths from the storm. Don't go anywhere. Tom is back with a final look at what will be a little more sunshine than we've seen over these last several days. Next. We are continuing to monitor the impact of Debbie tonight. In Marion County, the storm knocked out power for tens of thousands of customers. Emergency operations crews responded to trees down on top of power lines. This was all across the county as that storm through, knocking really a lot of trees down as well. At one point, more than 22,000 customers from different companies were without power. Crews hop from outage to outage, trying to get the electricity back up and running just as quickly as possible. And in Sumter County, all the rain from Debbie forced a handful of parks to close and brought out even some Teslas.
I would not be driving that through.
No, not with all the electricity in there. Some other flooding issues. Water pooled on County Road 103 in the Villages starting early in the morning. The road had to be shut down from Wedgewood Lane to Woodridge Road, creating some headaches for drivers who were trying to get between a nearby shopping center and the surrounding communities.
Can't drive in it. We saw people swimming in it earlier.
Diving into it like it was a pool.
See, that was a Seine River. I don't know which one was
well,
worse.
It might be the same.
Yeah, here's what's going on with our storm that's still up in southern Georgia tonight as a tropical storm. It will maintain mainly just a big rainmaker effect for them up along the coast. And they have numerous flood warnings, flash flood emergencies we saw today. Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Meadowwoods, that is a squally rain band. Just about a 5-minute heavy windy downpour. We'll see a passing shower in the morning, but we will try to get a little more sunshine mixed in as well. About 30% rain chance until we get to the upcoming weekend. We're back to good old-fashioned hot, humid August.
Hey, but it's nice sunshine, and we're not in the middle of wall-to-wall coverage of
another one.
Destruction.
Anything else in the pipeline?
One little wave in the Atlantic, but right now,
not gonna.
Pretty quiet.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. It's all good.
All right. Take care.